Christopher Thomas, Chris Thomas, CHRISTHOMAS.
Okay, and you're the owner of?
Brit Boy Street Food.
Okay, tell me about the business.
Where to start? So this was a brainchild, I guess, we put together about 18 months ago while me and my wife both had corporate jobs. I come from Costco events. I was with essentially an event planning company for 12 years on the West Coast that I ran and owned for about 12 years. And then we lost everything with COVID. So I come from an event-based background, and obviously working with Costco and big retail stores, there's a lot of moving pieces. So when we moved out east, we got corporate jobs, but I've always liked events. I've always liked being around people. And as good as I was at those corporate jobs, you know, one thing led to another, and we found ourselves on the job market again. So we built the business model for this while still working, and then once we got let go from our corporate jobs, we simply turned it on. And we had no idea what it was going to be, what kind of direction we were going to go. And over the course of the last 12 months or so, we have figured out who we are and what we're trying to achieve, and here we are today. So, yeah.
So who are you?
We are a frozen food business, British-themed frozen food business. So there's a couple of avenues of my business. I do warm pop-ups, so you'll find me here at Brown's at St. Patrick's Day. So we'll be in the back patio with 4,000 to 5,000 people selling sausage rolls and shepherd's pies specifically. You can find me on a Friday or a Saturday night at a local brewery around town serving hot food. We obviously do catering as well, but the main part of our business is the frozen food part. So you can go to my website at any time, and at checkout you just choose your pickup location, and essentially whatever you've ordered, I will deliver there and notify you to go and collect it. So Brown's is one of my pickup locations, so choose it at checkout, and whatever you've ordered will be in their freezer for you to come in, check out this local store, and pick up your Brit Boy order as well. Take it home and cook it.
So partnerships are essential for you.
Big time, yeah. Small business is very difficult. My wife's currently working a job that, you know, not the biggest fan of, if she will, but she's high rolling and crushing it. So she's doing it for the family. And when we get big enough for Brit Boy to be able to support the family, that's, you know, what we're going to be doing, if you will. But it's all about businesses helping each other. So when you choose a small business like Brown's or one of my other ones, hopefully you go in there, maybe for the first time, spend some money, get to know the owners. A lot of these small businesses, the owners are on site every day. And just open your eyes to something new, something different that you might have not have seen before.
Yeah. And how do you source like all of your products?
Where do they come from? Typically Restaurant Depot, buying in bulk. So I make anywhere from 400 to 600 sausage rolls at a time, 60 to 100 pies at a time. So just that volume of produce, it really just comes from Restaurant Depot. So some local stuff here or there, but nothing crazy at the moment.
And all with a British spin on it.
Yeah, it's just food I've been cooking forever. We didn't have tons of money to eat out as we were building our careers, so when we did, it was a special occasion. My mum is a home economics teacher, so that's where it really comes from. I don't know if she actually taught me to cook, but she definitely inspired me to cook for sure. And you know, from watching TV and YouTube and trying to recreate certain things that I thought I would like, I've learned to cook, and Brit Boy is a kind of a byproduct of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you kind of mentioned it a little bit, but what are some of the things that, you know, we may not, you know, understand in terms of culture with the food that you offer?
It's not as bad as people say. It's my latest review. If you want to look that up, it's the only skepticism the only skepticism the gentleman had was, am I really British? Because the flavor profile was off the charts. So it took him by surprise. British food gets a bit of a bad rep for being flavorless and just not having that depth. At the end of the day, it is a little bit more plain for sure, but it means you can actually taste the food that you're eating, not the 65 ingredients that went into it. So if you're eating steak or beef, you're actually tasting the steak and the beef. The shepherd's pie, the lamb, you want the lamb to come out and be prominent, not be hidden. So with the food that I cook, you can actually taste what's in it. So obviously it's seasoned correctly, in my opinion, but you can actually, the flavors come through, and it's definitely not typical bland English food.
Yeah, for sure. Well, England is coming to town.
Yes, sir. Can you believe it? Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I've moved a long way from home and I've been gone almost 20 years. So the fact that a team I followed my entire life, I'm going to be on my doorstep a couple of miles away from my house. It's probably the closest I've ever been to them. I've never had the fortune to go to an England game. And it's just really exciting. There's a ton of English people here. Kansas City is, I didn't realize it at the time when I moved here, but there's so many English people here for one reason or another. So they'll definitely find themselves with a warm welcome, even if nobody comes from England, which obviously isn't going to be the case. Just with the locals, and they're not. I mean, Prairie Village, I think, is where they're staying and training over at Swope. So they'll definitely feel that hometown support being 6,000 miles away, which is pretty cool to have.
Yeah. Any players that you root for?
I mean, all of them. Being honest, it's one of those things. As I've got older, I still pay attention, but not as much as I did before I had a 2.5-year-old. Time is of the essence. But I still get up early to watch the games. We follow them. It's just time we got a trophy. It's 60 years of hurt, I think it is now. Not 40. It's one of my favorite songs, the 40 years of hurt song. So now it's 60 years of hurt. And it's just time we dotted the I's and crossed the T's. We get there almost, and it's just like any sport though, right? It's the hope that kills you, but it keeps getting you back to the table, if you will. Hopefully this time they get it over the line, quite frankly.
Yeah. What does soccer mean just for that country and just, I mean, the world stage is coming here, and I don't think Kansas City really understands how big this is.
Yeah, I mean, the closest equivalent to what they're about to expect is a home Chiefs playoff game, which is huge in itself. But not everybody follows football ultimately, and the stadium is huge, and what a great spectacle it is for a Chiefs playoff game, or even just a home game in general. This city goes mad for them. But it's going to be unlike anything they've ever seen. It might, I'd almost say the equivalent of 5 home Chiefs playoffs games would be 1 World Cup game. The influx of people from all over the world, and just experiencing what Kansas City has to offer. So small businesses like this, mine potentially, and just the city's going to see an influx of people it's never seen before. And what they're going to experience is that Midwest hospitality, and just the people are I've been on the West Coast for 12 years, so moving to the Midwest, again, I've got a 2.5-year-old, and when we play in the front yard, he just waves at every car that passes by. So building a Midwest child, just super friendly, and it's pretty cool that Kansas gets to show this off to the world and leave people with a lasting memory as well.
Yeah. What do you think sports can teach us?
It teaches a lot in today's climate. We coexist. It's a battle. You respect one another, and you leave it all out there. But at the end, you shake hands, and you congratulate the winning team, and you move on to the next one. And it's something I've always really respected about rugby. Much more violent sport. Not a lot of fighting or stuff happening in the game that shouldn't happen. But at the end of the game, they just come together and they shake hands, and they get on with things and try and do better next time if they lost, right? So sports is the ultimate thing that does bring people together. And when done the right way, no matter the sport, the world is a better place. And soccer is the world's game. And I remember growing up, I just had a rolled up pair of socks, and I was able to kick it against something. And you don't need any equipment. You don't need, really anything except jumpers for goalposts. And that's why it's so accessible, and why it is the world's game, because you really don't need much to have fun doing it.
And of course, the sport has some rivalries. Isn't Ireland and England pretty big?
Don't know what you're talking about. Nope. I'm sat here at Brown's Irish Marketplace as Brit Boy, so I have no clue what you're talking about, sir. We'll leave that there.
Absolutely. And, what are you looking forward to the most this
Personally, just experiencing it. I've never been to a World Cup. I missed out when my friends went to Germany in 2008, I think it was. They took a camper van to Germany because I was on the short track to come back to the States for my soccer scholarship, so I couldn't be in two places at once. So I've never been in a country where it's hosted. So just being a fan of it, going to watch parties of England, maybe even traveling to a game or two, whether it's Dallas or the East Coast, as just a fan and just being around it, going to a watch party potentially here at Browns that I don't have a dog in the fight, but just being around those that do and getting into it and, wearing maybe the right color, maybe the wrong color, and just, experiencing it all with those that, are living life on the, not living life on the edge, but they're on the edge of the seats for what the result might be. Because the World Cup makes, and there's a lot of careers that are made from the World Cup. There's a lot of players that have never been seen before, and they absolutely show up and perform, and then it changes their life when they go back home because of just how they performed on the world stage. So it's just been pretty exciting. And then for Brit Boy, who knows? We're a frozen food business, so we'll be doing some pop-ups at certain locations, so people traveling in can try it. I don't anticipate people from England are desperate for a sausage roll. They've got that on tap where they come from, so they'll probably be eating all the barbecue they can get their hands on and the Mexican food. So we'll see what happens with Brit Boy, but as a fan as a whole, it's very exciting.
Yeah, you won't take it for granted.
No, not at all.
Perfect. Anything else you'd like to add?
About the World Cup?
Yeah.
Just be ready, I guess. Just to the small businesses, the locals, traffic's going to be bad. Everywhere that you might go will be busier than it usually is. And just embrace it. Most Americans don't have a passport. They don't need one, really. Everything is here. So the fact that all these cultures are coming to you, embrace it. Get to know these people. See what they're all about. And you'll be amazed how many commonalities you have and how we're so similar as humans, no matter where we come from. We all really want the same things, and just working together on how to get that. So embrace it.